All right. You already know what time it is. It's Monday night, live in the Counselor's Corner for another open court discussion. I am your host, David Lorenzo Glover, aka the Controversial Counselor. Joining me is my co host, the Big Bad Wolf, Herb Lewis.
Ow!
Tonight, Monday, December 30th, we will be wrapping up 2024 in style with the recap of this year, highlights, lowlights, and everything in between. We will look back at some of our topics, such as non disclosure agreements. Y'all remember that? That was like the first show of 2024. Then we had the interviews with Karan Dubois, my nephew, member of the Buffalo Extreme in the ABA League. Then we also had a show with the dating relationship coach, Paige Hines Cheatham. We also talked about men's marriage immaturity, the impact of childhood trauma in relationships, and the bear versus men. Remember that argument? And the dating minimum wage, and much, much more. So please like and share our video. And don't forget to tell a random individual to tell a random individual to subscribe to the YouTube channel, The Controversial Counselor. Well, gang, I mean, looks like we're closing out the year with 925. So we lost a couple again. Subs 75 away from 1K. But we will get there in 2025. Don't know when, but it's happening. And I know it's going to happen. And it's going to be some other interesting things happening on the shows, which would probably increase viewership. So here we are, just just a blur, 2024. But I think that happens with every all years when you get older. Like time doesn't last forever, and that's one of the things that I always preach to kids: be a kid as long as you can be a kid, because hit once you hit get into high school, it just flies by, and y'all don't want the problems that adults have. And always remember, you're an adult in most cases longer than you are a child. So, but a lot of people want to rush that process. I say, I can't wait to turn 18 so I could get my own place. I can do this and I can do that. But the reality is, they don't really understand how it works. And that's been an ongoing argument. Like, okay, do you put your kid out at 18? What do you do? How long do you let them stay? Should we start building more like duplexes and stuff where families come together and we save money, and you keep branching off, and you get everything you can get? Why, you know as long as you can exist without killing each other, and then keep growing and building. So it's a lot, but and I always think about, and I think one of my guys at the job, J Rob, always talk about 2024 being the year of Kobe Bean Bryant, the number 24, and it's been quite an interesting year. So we're gonna talk about that, and as my vacation winds down and back to the grind on Thursday, it's been a year. So, and we'll talk about certain things as we go on. Big Bad Wolf, what's going on with you in the closeout of the 2024?
I was just talking off air, man. I got the book should have been done, so that's gonna be the number one priority. I just have to do an edit, work on the album cover, one or maybe two other things, and that that should hit the shelves, if you will. Hopefully by the end of January. All things January, probably February, everything should be sewn up. Um, other than that, and my weight, because I done backslid terribly, man. It's usually that first month of winter I just get real. I don't want to say lethargic. I just become real disinterested with doing a whole lot. I just want to sleep, and I think it's a combination of the seasonal deficit disorder and everything else. So I gotta crack the whip on that. But other than that, man, um, got some traveling plans for. 2025, going around and meet a few people, going to spread my wings, if you will. And I'm gonna make life do what it should do, and that's be enjoyable. Other than that, man, I have no complaints. Turned 53 this year, so everything's everything, man.
All right.
53 is a good number for me. First number I wore playing football too. So
Yeah. So when I think of I don't know, you mentioned weight loss, and I know for a while I was on that journey, but actually I've been losing weight really without even much, not even doing anything, and I think also by working at this massive building that and I don't count steps and stuff like that, but I think I should start doing that because you get a lot of mileage up and down those stairs, up and
mm,
down these long hallways, and things of that nature. But I really haven't been focused on that. But I've been losing weight. No, I'm not sick or anything like that. uh, but I think I need to get back into the element of just walking and doing little cardio stuff to either to get to my original goal that I had set out to do. But as far as basketball, I usually would get that itch to go out there and play with the guys, but I kind of stayed away from the gym. They probably thought I died or something because they for like 9 or 10 years I was a consummate person that would show up and play, and we would play on Sundays, and then I sort of had like little minor aches and injuries a couple years ago, and I've never been back. So they haven't seen me since then. And I keep saying one of these Sundays I'm just gonna pop in there just to watch them play. And but I think I'm trying to fight it off like my days is just behind me. Whatever. I'm not gonna even do that to my body, and that's one of the things that I know from reading the book, the Black Mamba, that Kobe used to always say, like, listen to your body, always listen to your
yeah,
body, and that's one of the things too. And I'm going to speak specifically on that as a black man because I am a black man that we need to do better as far
mm,
as listening to
yep,
our body and making sure we get in our annual checkups, and people blood work is tells it all. That tells the bigger picture, your blood work.
mhm.
And if you say, oh, I ain't did no blood work in 2 or 3 years, you don't know what the hell you got going on in your system.
Yeah, I'm
So
guilty. I'll be
yeah,
the first to tell you I'm guilty. So yeah,
so
that's
that has to be
but
something
and the
checked
thing for
on.
me. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm done. I'm done. Go ahead.
The thing I've been having problems with is trying to find a because they're reluctant. Or I shouldn't even say reluctant. It's just hard to find a primary care physician that's taking new patients. It's everywhere is like in Buffalo. And I'm just like, that's absurd. I gotta go travel an hour just to really find a doctor. So that's something I'm gonna have to contend with this coming year because I know my blood pressure is elevated. Because the last time I had a procedure, they were saying it was elevated to the point where they didn't want to do the procedure. So that's something I gotta get. That's something I gotta get under control. And I know when I drop the weight, that's going to impact that. So six of one, half a dozen of the other. Um, my sleep patterns are just awful though. I sleep maybe 2 hours at a time, so a full 6 to 8 hours. That's not going to come in, and I'm working shift work too, and that's been known to happen to people that work shift work. So I take that in stride. I'm not stressed out about anything. So yeah, and you know, I still I don't run nearly. Actually, you know what? I prefer to bike ride and rollerblade. Running is too much on the knees, but when I do run, I'll run for about 10, 15 minutes at a time, depending on if I'm running from my house to the falls, which is roughly about, depending on the route I take, it's about a mile run. So I'll do that. I'll run around the falls a little bit, and I'll come back here. But now that was something I was doing when I was actually doing well with my weight loss. I was down to 255. I was like, all right, but the cold weather hits, and I'm just like, ah, man, I go into hibernation almost like a bear. So it's funny though, man. I realize that the last 2 years specifically, I go into hibernation mode. Like I just sit down. I don't do a whole lot. I'm not outside. Um, Especially now with the weather being so inconsistent. There's an ice rink that's probably about 2, maybe 3 miles from here. It's an outdoor rink. Um, they don't really maintain it other than to put the boards down and the initial ice itself, so you can always go out there and skate. Even though the ice is choppy, I used to go out there and I would ice skate for about 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes, and then I would run from there, or I should say run, jog is a better term. I would jog from there to the library, and that was about maybe about a mile, mile and a half, because that was part of the course that they had for the wellness march, which the wellness run, which was 5K. So about that, and this is some years ago. So it's just like you say, listen to your body. I'm just like, okay, I know I gotta have some knee. I know I have a knee issue with my right knee, so I gotta have that looked at because that if I pound on it too much, it starts to ache. So I gotta get that looked at. And it's like, damn, am I falling apart? Or is just all the stuff that I've been doing for all the years is finally starting to catch up? And I think it's more of that because all my jobs I've ever had, I've always been on my feet. I've never really had a job where I was doing clerical work or just sitting. So everything I do is always on my feet. Then that goes from being a server to doing security to what I'm doing now. So um, my lower body health is always going to be uh, pretty much paramount in terms of how I move forward. But I'm still mobile. I can walk upstairs. I can run. I can bike. I can rollerblade. I can ice skate. So I'll get it done.
And one of those other things is probably creeping up on that I think about it, but then I stop thinking about it. And retirement is coming. It's coming. And shout out to my girl, Angela Smith, who just retired from the Housing Authority. I think her last position was like executive director. And when I seen that today, I was like, wow, like this shit real. Like
Yeah.
she's retired. They put in 36 years. So she deserves to walk away on her own will, but great job. And 36 years at the same place, tremendous job. And but it's real. I get those notifications and um, emails. But the thing about it is, you always want to have another plan after that. Like to me, some people are like, oh, once I retire, they're like you just gonna be sitting around sleeping in or going to bed with the people that I know that retire, and not all, but like some of the professionals and people like that, they end up dying like a couple years after, and not
Yep.
even sometimes don't even make it a couple years. So it's important to have a great backup plan to be doing something because you got to keep that mind going and keep the because if your mind shuts down, your brain shuts down, everything else is going to eventually
Definitely.
shut down. So that's kind of the centerpiece to everything. So right now I'm in the back of my mind always thinking like, oh, it got to be something, it got to be something, because also the competitive instinct in me, like I got to be getting up and be challenged to do something, because not doing nothing, nah, that's not gonna work for me, not gonna work for me at all. So if you're our age, something to think about, as well as heading into 2025, and always trying to figure out how to save some money and
Yeah.
keep saving and keep establishing something consistent and getting into investments and crypto and stocks and stuff like that, trying to build something up for a rainy day. And all of that stuff is always on the mind. But some people don't have a worry in the world. They don't even think about that shit. They just live life and think, I don't know what they're waiting uh for to happen, but these are like proactive thoughts that you got to have instead of being reactive. So that's one of the things too in 2025 that is kind of on my heart heavy.
And it's something that you mentioned earlier, and this might become more of a reality than people are realizing is, familial consolidation. I mean, people are probably going, just because the way the economy is going. It's not just here; it's the global economy. With AI moving in, people might, have to start looking to moving in with family, just like you said, to save a few bucks. So, um, I'm blessed, I suppose. The area of the country that I live in, the cost of living really isn't that great, and by the time I suppose anything major happens, I hope to have the house paid off. So, the only thing I have to worry about is taxes. Um, but you know, the place that I live in, easily another two people could be in this house, and we would not be in each other's way. Everybody would have their own room. Um, I mean, I'm blessed. Really, I am. I some years ago, I had my brother was in one of my brothers was in transition, and he was here. I hosted my mother before she transitioned, and it was never a problem. Matter of fact, I gave her the entire downstairs, and I stayed upstairs. The only time I came downstairs was to shower, um, prepare some food, and make sure that she was okay. So, these are things that people may really want to start considering. If you're looking to save money, if you have grandchildren, which some of our listeners might have, um, aging parents, there's programs out there, from what I've been hearing, that will pay you to provide elder care for one of your parents. And I know how crazy it sounds. Well, what kind of program is that? I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. Look into it, because if you can, this is the situation. You might have a, one of your children live with you that's going to community college, or the community. If the program is successful for you or for them, not only do you get to have your parents in the house longer, you get to have somebody provide care for them, and they're drawing a paycheck. So you kill two birds with one stone. You get that person to get a paycheck, you provide elder care, and that person's quality of life might actually improve. It certainly will be stable. And this is how you get the extended family. So we always talk about, Sunday dinners, which we no longer have as a country. That really is a thing. Nobody's cooking big dinners anymore. Nobody gets the family together and y'all sit down and y'all turn off the TV, turn off your phones, and y'all have conversations about whatever it is that is the topic of du jour. Doesn't happen anymore. And then we wonder why we, as families, communities, people, we're so fractured. Because and it's funny, and we rarely get into politics on this platform, but I'm going to mention this. A lot of people, they saw this past election as a surprise when the results came in, and it shouldn't be, because what the people are saying is, hey, look, we want to get back to what this country was. We want to get back to being economically solvent. We want to have families as a centerpiece of what we do in our lives. And we want to live relatively comfortably. We don't want to struggle. We don't have to go to the gas station and say, okay, you know what? I can only afford $20 to put my tank because I got to make the mortgage payment, or my rent's due, or I'm getting disconnection notice. Nobody wants that. And there was a time where people in this country, even those who weren't well to do, didn't have to concern them things about that type of stuff. But now that's becoming more of a reality. We've been through COVID, and COVID hit a lot of women hard. It hit a lot of women, and indirectly their family, meaning their children. The the biggest group of growing homeless people are women and children. and the government can only support so much. So what are those people going to do? They're going to eventually be knocking on somebody's door, whether it's the father of the child or the mother or her mother or mother and or father. So people, I mean, things things about to get real tight. So so when you start getting those phone calls, those texts, or those knocks on your door, don't be too surprised.
Yeah. So, and one of the things that we covered a lot in 2024, and things that we try to cover is, again, day to day situations, scenarios, or potential things that may become a problem or that may be a trouble issue at the time. It's, so a lot of broadcasts and stuff, they just get caught up on the trendy topics and things of that nature. But we'll talk about those things, but we try to look at, probably go deeper in the kind of the root cause of certain things and go a little deeper. So that's why it may be a little struggle for us as far as
Mhm.
subscribers and stuff. But that's okay, because again, I think I mentioned it before. It amazes me like how even some of the things that I put out that's still showing up on Michael Baisden's page that has so many thousands of shares and um, comments and views and stuff. And I'm like, and it pops up. I'm like, damn, I wrote that. But you know what? Some of the things is people don't try to give people credit for what they did. They'll try to crop out your stuff, and you're like, damn, I wrote that. That's coming straight from me. Uh, so I know that I know we're being looked at, and people see it. And it was just interesting. Like usually, that we stream on LinkedIn too, and then I think just last week it was some guy
Yeah.
out in L.A. I think he seems like a successful person, but he was tuned in, and he was like, interesting subject. So I'm saying this to be saying, because oftentimes people say, well, you don't get a lot of likes and stuff like that from your people from Niagara Falls. I know why that is. I'm hitting them hard, and they're looking like, damn, is he talking about me, or whatever the case is. So you're not just gonna click on anything, but like you said the last show, Herb, when you start calling out freaking names on folks, people will tune in. People will tune
Hmm.
in. Now I've been saying it for years, but I've been giving people grace. Uh, but as soon as later, it's gonna be time to start calling out folks on some of the things that you stroll through and read, and like, oh hell no, I got to say something about this. I bet you, everything blow up then, because they're gonna be wondering, well, who they calling out this week, who they calling out
Yeah.
this week, because to be honest, at this stage of the game, at my age, I ain't looking for no more friends or build or or people like that. So that no, that shit, I'm secure in who I am. So if you say, well, I'm never talking to him again, hmm, I'll probably have to think like, damn,
you already
if
know how I
yeah,
move when
yeah,
them situations arise. I'm like, all right,
are they a reference for
see
me
you.
for a job? I don't think I'll be looking for too many more jobs now. Uh, have they ever put money in my pocket? What have they done for me? Oh, nothing. So I don't give a fuck. So that's how it may come off. But I'm saying out that to be saying all that it's people watching, they're looking, and they people sometimes just don't like or anything, but they just lurking. And I think we got a lot of lurkers, a lot of lurkers, and to the point that some people try to even kind of steal some of the stuff that you talk about or try to set up things how you do it, but I'm okay with that too. We still gonna keep pushing forward. I don't know, Herb, if you want to chime in on anything I said, then I was going to kind of go down the list of some of the things that we covered.
Oh no, absolutely. And to follow what you're saying, we we likes is a secondary thing for us. Yes, we would like the subscribers because it shows consistency in our efforts. I don't think nobody wants to do something and not have somebody recognize it. But understand, like David said, regardless of who shows up on the panel or who watches the content after we already put it out, we know that people are watching. Because all we have to do is go click on it and we see how many views, whether they actually click like or dislike or not. We don't do sexy. We do consistent because consistent is where success lies. I'll go back to when we were talking about the red pill and things of that nature before it became mainstream. I just saw a post on Blair's page talking about the Black church. We did that years ago. So there are things that we do that the mainstream doesn't really pick up on until it becomes evident. And that's fine. Like David said, we know people are watching. We know people they steal our content. And it's like Coach Greg Adams said, they want to steal your content, but they don't want to give you any credit for it. This is why I always, when David asks me where I get something from, the first thing I do, excuse me, is to tell him whose page I got it from. Why? Because I believe any individual that I get some content from, they deserve to be praised, they deserve to be lauded, and they deserve to have that spotlight. So nobody says, oh, none of their content's original. Rarely does anybody create original content, but it's the way we talk about the content that's original. Because you won't find people that'll talk about childhood trauma in the context of how it's going to affect them daily. You won't find anybody that actually talks about how that manifests in their adulthood and then come back next week and talk about dating. Usually people have just one thing that they do and they stick to that. We are diverse. So not only do we talk about mental health, not only do we talk about finances, even though we don't get into finances that heavy, not only do we talk about a lot of other things, dating, work situations. We give you a lot. So you don't necessarily know until David puts out the show content. Nobody necessarily knows what we're going to do. So you actually have to tune in to find out what we're going to talk about. And this is the funny thing. A lot of times people thought we scripted stuff. There would be some situations where we have more panel members that things would just spark, and people was like, "Oh no, they gotta be scripting." It's just like people, we don't script nothing. We have show notes that we have things that we talk about that we research, but we don't script anything. So whatever you see happen, it's real. It's real. No fillers.
Definitely that, and it just reminds me of when you mentioned about certain subject areas. I remember back when we did the whole thing about paper plates and thing. And to be honest, I got that from a friend. She had mentioned it, and she said you should talk about that. And I did. I put it out there, and it just blew up, like the comments and all that. But then you start seeing other people talking about this. I'm like, yeah, I wasn't talking about this shit before. Yeah. And even the thing with like cuffing season and all of that stuff, I had the whole calendar year, play by play, month by month, what things happen and stuff like that. So, and people just, because a lot of times I tell people, it's people who started out doing this that we know, and I was like, how long are they gonna last? Because you only can go to other people's pages and like, okay, this is gonna be my topic. But the way we think, it may be based on comments that we read or certain things that may trigger a thought, then you do a little research. I'm like, damn, it's a lot of information on this
Hmm.
particular thing that we can have a show about and talk about it. And again, no, nobody's no expert or whatever the case is, but the fact that you have to have courage to even talk about certain subjects. And a lot of people like to sweep things under the rug and I don't know, I guess pray to their mystery God that are going to go away and things are going to change without doing anything different. Uh, so, like I said, we covered the gamut. So it's 2000. We're closing out 2024, going into 2025. But here's another thing we talked about. Uh, Looking good on the outside. What about the inside? We know that a lot of people be flossing and looking good as hell on the outside, trying to wear name brand. Whether if they looking good, if they got fake butts, implants, or guys got freaking jet black beards and hair full of hair. How you really feeling on the inside?
Yeah.
A lot of that speaks volumes for people for you to have to do that. And you know, I get shots at me because I got gray. Well, you should, you such. But people who really know me, like, nah, like, David got gray and all that stuff, but he don't. His face doesn't look old. His face, and I tell
Right.
people, if I shaved this off and I had just my mustache, I probably look like 10 years younger, or whatever. But I just like the edge. That's just what it is. That's just what. So I don't look for that. But when you look for that, something wrong with you on the inside, and you
You
probably
know, it
never
is funny you
checked
say that.
into it.
When I went to New York City back in I think was it September? I went down to check out a baseball game, and I met up with my homeboy Chris, and he's got the gray. I said, man, I can't wait till I get that. He said, what? He said, look at you, you got no gray hair. I said, man, that's a sign of you made it. He said, man, hang on to what you got for a while. Because I see them slowly now starting to grow in, at least in terms of my head and then my chin, but very few and far between. So I'm just, I'll take it, as they come because a lot of people really don't peg me to be as old as I am. And it's like David said, you know, internally, I don't necessarily feel that old. And externally, I certainly don't look like it. And I was tongue in cheek. I say that's because I don't have two things. I say I don't have a wife and I don't have children. So that's my stress level is pretty much non-existent. But there's some things to be said for having an immediate family that a man provides for. I don't necessarily have that animals that I provide for, but I mean, for me, that's almost equivalent to breathing unless something happens to one of them. And I've had to put two down in the last 3 years, which I will tell you now, um, it is it is something, and you can ask any pet owner, especially dogs and cats. It's something that we dread. It really is. I mean, a lot of people they dismiss having pets and the death of a pet as, oh man, it's just this and this. And I tell you now, that shit hurts. It's painful. And there's two people that have seen me literally sit up and cry about having to put a pet down. And I tell you, there is um a family member's death is not quite the same, although it's painful. It's a different kind of pain. Um, Only because depending on where you are when the transition, you might not get to speak to them. You know, your pets are with you from the time that you walk in the door, from the time that you walk out the door. Our brothers and sisters are with us in thought and prayer, but they're never around us like that. So You literally food dish empty, you know, water container empty. You're not refilling it anymore. Your daily habit literally changes. I mean, I remember when I put Chip down, it was it was surreal. I would come home in the morning and he was no longer in the window. And that was something that took me a long time to get used to. And I will say this, when I came home in the morning for about 2 months straight, I would sit out there and talk to his remains. Literally, I kid you not. And it wasn't as bad when I put Lucky down. And I'm gonna catch some hell for this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. When I brought him home, when I brought his body home, I let his body sit in the window until I came home that next morning, and then I buried it because it was a reminder of how precious that life is. And sometimes we take life for granted, and like David said, hey, make time for your family. Go see him. He was evidence of that over the weekend. He went to see his cousin Guam play. Sometimes we don't do that. We don't take time to go see our family members, regardless if we have to travel. And then when something happens, you got people at the funeral, they falling out saying, "Oh, if I'd have had more time, I'd have did this." Got the time now. And if you can't travel, pick up the phone. Sometimes we take that for granted. So, the older we get, you know, the less time we have. So, those are the things that I do. And like, going back to what got us on this particular point is that, hey, gray hair is a good thing. They're a good thing. So don't try and hide them. They're a sign that you made it. They're a sign you got responsibilities. They're a sign that you care.
Oh, for sure. So again, like you said, don't hide them or be who you are. Be adapt to your changes and be confident in what you do because the truth of the matter is, as the great Run DMC them said, tinted windows don't mean nothing. We you still know who's inside, so you could hide it and you could do this and that. You still know who you are, so be who you are. So that was one of the things that we had covered. We also talked about relationship myths. There's a lot of myths in relationships. A lot of things that people say or you accustomed to hearing that you believe. One of the biggest ones is probably coming up now. Oh, if you don't spend the New Year's, bringing the New Year's with that person, you're fucking kidding me. Who comes up with this stuff? It means nothing. It means nothing. You could be somewhere stuck somewhere because you went out of town for the holidays and didn't make it back, or certain circumstances, but that doesn't mean that whoever you bringing in, that's who you end up with and all this stuff. Please stop with that stuff. We gotta I think those regimes is probably outdated and like from our grandparents and stuff, like, and many of them have passed on. It's time to starting some new shit. Auntie
Yeah.
probably gonna be coming aboard and starting some new shit for y'all because some of the other stuff y'all gotta let it go with these relationship myths. Anything you want to add to that, Herb?
Yeah, man. And 2024, we saw a lot of conversation about 50-50. I just sit back now and I just watch the chatter about what men should spend on dates and this and this and this and this. And I was just talking to David about an episode on First Date TV show. And I'm here to tell you, fellas, don't let no woman, and matter of fact, no man, dictate to you what you need to do in terms of dating. Now, I'm on record from last week saying I don't quote unquote date. And I mean that. And this has got to be something I have to do in the edit in the book. A lot of people, and I'm going to direct this at men. I'll get to the women a little later, probably. A lot of men have become hyper focused, regardless of the age, on whether he's going to have sex with a female or not. And as I so often have said, take it off the table. Just take it off the table. Number one, because it eliminates her leverage. And a lot of women feel, and I'll use that word feel, as long as they got something that you want, they can't control you. The moment they don't, guess who's in the catbird seat? You are. You get to control the narrative. You get to control whether you're in the friend zone or not. You get to control everything about the relationship that you want to. The things that you don't really care that much about, you let her have. And I know there's going to be some women out there talking about, well, men can't do that. I assure you, men can do that. Men just don't want to, but men can do that. Because I do it. I take sex off the table. It's not. I'm not sure to go ahead and keep that.
But hold on. When you mention Frisbee, you know that's a trigger for me. And I'm just talking. But if that's something that you want to say, we can control. I can control that narrative to begin. If that's what you think you're gonna choose for me, and you think you're gonna get a best buddy, don't fucking do it. Don't even start dealing with it. I'm not going to be your best fucking buddy. Never again. The end. That's it.
the reason why I say that is this, and that's his position. So people always think David and I thinking like we don't. We have our positions on certain things, and that's his position. This is my position. The reason why I have the position I do is because I believe women are tools. You heard me right. Women are tools. So, and it's I gotta send you the clip. There was on the same show, First Dates. There's a brother. He was 44, and I think they were from Philadelphia. Sister, she was 40. Now, she was a radio was or is a radio show host, and don't ask me her name because I can't remember it. I do know it was Arabic. And she started out the date with, I don't want to say antagonizing, that's not the right word. Being very inquisitive about the guy. She found out he had 4 kids by 2 women and a bunch of other stuff. And he knew who she was. So he understood he was going to be interrogated. Interrogated was the word I was looking for. And at the end of the date, she was said, I would see you for a second date. He said, no, I wouldn't see you for a second date. He said, but you know what I would do? I would hang out with you because you're a lot of fun. This is why I always say that sometimes putting the female in a certain category can be beneficial to you because now look what he has access to. She's a well-known radio show host. How many people do you think she can actually pull into a circle if she was to host a party? A couple hundred. She's headlining the party. She's throwing the party. DJ, you don't think people are going to show up? Mm-hmm. And what have we always talked about when we talk about dating? Is the opportunity to meet people. Don't stop your potential blessings. And this is no shot at Dave. Don't stop your potential blessings. Don't stop your potential blessings unless, and I stress unless, they go against what you stand for. If they go against what you stand for, then it's not a blessing. It's something that's happened. You compromise your standards. And I don't tell anybody, and I would not encourage anyone to compromise your standards. I will tell you from time to time, examine them. And if you think you can benefit from something, make an exception. Because and I'm gonna put it on the wood. Shout out to Obsidian. I guarantee you that if David found a female that he didn't quite vibe with, but she could help him, I guarantee you he would be on board with her being in his friend zone.
And see, and when I say that, I just kind of roll with that kind of stance. But in reality, is I mean, it is people that you dealt with. It doesn't work out, and you end up, being friends. And there's some things that they have expertise in, and I had people who that I used to talk to, and they help family members out, and they because the of relationship that we had, and they felt like we was always stand up towards each other. Like it didn't work. We made mistakes, but this is what I can do, and because of my relationship with you, I'm willing to help others out. In that case, so it's always people that can help. Hey, maybe a family member or something.
Mhm,
You may have a child that they're in this, and like, okay, I tell him to come here. I can make sure he get a job, this or that.
mhm.
So I say that when I speak on it is when there's people who tell you that, and they're like, oh, I just think we're better off. And they want you to that role reversal to happen in a short time. Like, how was I just over there chilling with you and we might have been living together? Now you want me to be your best friend? Nah, nah,
Yeah.
nah. If you go for that,
Now
that's some
I
sucker.
agree there.
That's some
Yeah,
sucker
because I've
duck
had
shit
somebody do
right
that to me, and I'm like, ah, yeah, I'm out.
there.
I'm out.
So I like to ride that narrative about the friend zone, but in all reality, I don't know if there's anybody that I ever dealt with that they're like, damn, we just I hate them or they hate me or we don't, have any discussion. So if y'all developing some concept like, oh, about me, knock it off. Knock it off. Oh, speaking of particular situations where no, I'm not gonna be your man. One minute we curled up, then next minute
Yeah.
you got another man coming through there, and I'm coming through helping moving furniture and shit because I still want to be your friend. I ain't never that desperate for friendship. So some people are desperate for friendships. I don't give a fuck. That's just how I'm built like that. For real. And now that's serious talk for real. For
Yeah,
real.
and I'll follow it up with saying you should never have to force a friendship. If there isn't anything there that grows organically, then as David says, your grandmother says, you go one way and I'll go the other. Do that because I'll life is difficult enough without having to deceive yourself or be deceived by somebody else in terms of what your relationship is. And I always tell people, if you have to ask where you stand with me, then you haven't been paying attention because I make things known. I'm not, even though I talk about the gray matter as my closing, I don't make people guess what their relationship is with me. So if you're a female and I have an intention to beg you, you gonna know. I'm gonna make it as plain as this goddamn glass in the water, and you gonna know that I want to visit the trench. I I want to I want to see how that I want to see how it feels. I no. It ain't no BS. Hey, look, I'm gonna make it known. You're not gonna, and it's up to you how you want to reciprocate. And if you shut it down, I'll respect that. But hey, like David said, don't call me to move no furniture, not unless it's the bed first and we in it. Cause that shit ain't gonna happen. I'm not that fool. You
Yeah.
know, that the song Harold The Neville brothers, everybody plays a fool. Yeah, just not that day. Sorry. So I
Yeah.
mean, but honestly, build your relationships. And I've said this before, and I'll reiterate it. Every individual you might meet at that particular time, they may serve a certain purpose. And you go 5, 10, 15 years down the line, you say, you know what? I didn't realize then, but I do now. We might be able to make this happen. And I know fellas are out there saying, yeah, but how many men she slept with and the body count? And I'm here to tell you, fellas, let that shit go. As long as you got a clean bill of health and she ain't dealt with your boys or some other cats that you know, women, and this is going to be something that we get into next year too. Women in this particular environment ain't many virgins.
Hmm.
There just isn't. So I can guarantee you, fellas, I'm speaking directly to you, that there's somebody that's married that you had a really, really good time with. And I always say, shut your mouth. When you get down, close your mouth. And as long as you follow that doctrine and she adheres to that doctrine, you're going to be okay. She's going to be okay. Because I know there's some women that are married now. We used to move some furniture. I'm not going to say we used to move some furniture. I'm not going to say we used to move some furniture up and downstairs, but we used to move some furniture. And why do you guys think I always talk about NDAs? Because at the end of the day, for a lot of women, their reputation is the only thing that they have. So unless you're vindictive, why would you want to destroy the only thing a lot of women have? It makes no sense. It makes you look petty and makes you look petulant. Because I'll guarantee you, and it may not seem like it at first. People will say, "Oh, you a fool, man! I'd have did this, I'd have did that," and I understand the desire to be petty. I really do, because there's some things happen. I'm just like, you know what? I'd have ripped that chicken new one. The, Matter of fact, I'll use my example with the paternity case. The only people who know that woman's name are the people who were around me when that happened. Now, there's absolutely nobody that knows about that situation that would have faulted me for outing her publicly. I didn't, because it would have served me no purpose to out her like that. She's married now with a kid. Why would I want to destroy that for her just because she's done something that she put herself in a situation? And the funny thing about it was she claimed we were both in it together. No, 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 we're not. That's a ball you got to hold. So, fellas, when I talk about these particular things, I do them, or I do so rather, with the understanding that right at that moment, you're gonna want to take some heads. And I understand. But give yourself some time to sit back and reflect on whether it's a need to do that or it's a desire to do that. And the difference is this: if it isn't going to enhance your life, in other words, if it's not going to make you some money, then it's a desire. If it's going to make you some money, then it's a need. I don't know any man that has ever benefited financially from airing a woman out, because you know what you're telling the world? You're telling the world that you don't know how to keep your business in house. Because I guarantee you, her friends are going to say, you know what? She ain't no good. She dirty. And you know what? I feel bad for you. They may not tell their friend that, but I guarantee you that's what they're thinking. And when somebody sees you out, or when one of them see you out, they're gonna say, "Hey, look, I'm sorry that such and such did that to you. You're a better man than that. She shouldn't have done that. This, and that." And you're gonna ask, "Well, where was this support when this was going on?" You got to remember, females are loyal to each other long before they are ever loyal to any other man. Sisters, aunts, uncles, they run together.
But
Now, that doesn't mean that they don't have different thoughts because they understand the sisterhood Uber Alice, shout out to Roller Tomasi, is stronger together. This is why the women always talk about women that are pick me's. And what do? They character assassinate them because they don't want them stepping out. They want them to hang together. Look, we are fists, we stronger together. Don't start doing this. Don't start doing that. Don't start talking about how the men are right. He ain't right. He a man. He ain't never gonna be right.
a thing
So
to that is
go ahead, Dave.
a thing to that is like those ones that come and tell you, yeah, she did you wrong, or whatever the case is. It's probably an opening that she was like, shit, I wish I had him. And after it's done, she gonna give it some grace and some time, but then you'll start seeing her making moves and all that. So when we used to talk about that, was it the girl code and all that, and I said cancel that shit. That shit does not exist. It does not exist. I know personally, it does not exist. And people are like, oh, I don't know who you talking about. I don't know who you supposed to talk. I don't know who you talk. I ain't gonna talk about nothing that I don't know anything about or have no knowledge or personal experience. I said, let's just wipe it away because it's not really real. It ain't no statutation, limitation, all that. If the timing is right, and if they think you're hurting behind that person and they can make you feel better, they gonna be Dr. Feel Good for you. And trust and believe. Trust and believe. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm here to tell you personal experience. Now, I haven't had anybody that's broken me off quite like David's situation, but when I tell the story, people are like, you know what, you're a good man for that, and women know, especially if you tell a story, they can say, well, why didn't you do this? Be- because women don't operate like that. Women will, oh no, I gotta get him. So why do you think guys always end up having their cars damaged, tires slashed, windows at their homes broken? Because it's an innately female response. So if you as a man, you can say, you know what? That's a gut shot. I'm gonna take that gut shot. That's a knockout blow. I'm gonna take that knockout blow, but I'm gonna stand in my manhood and I'm gonna accept that. They view you differently. They view you as somebody to have around, just like David was saying. And if the moon and the stars align, guess what? You might be moving some furniture. I'm just putting it out there. So so if you want to, and I'm just saying if you want to, remember need versus desire. Do you need to get back at this female, or do you desire to get back at this female? Because I always tell people, time rewards everyone. I'll say it again. Time rewards everyone. Because if you're doing right by yourself, eventually things break your way. I have never known anybody who was a stand-up individual, whether it's male or female, to not benefit. And I'm here to tell you, you know, if you If you're thinking that give me a moment, Dave. If you're thinking that you're not going to if you're thinking that you're not going to see the results and the fruit of your labor, keep living. Keep living. The best example that anybody can get, receive, is experience. So keep living. All things will turn around. Shout out to KRS-One. But you gotta be willing to keep living. You might, like I said, you might take an L now, but in the future, that L could turn out to be a big W. That person, that female friend might have an opening in the job. She said, you know what? I need to hire somebody that I know that is not going to run their mouth. I need to hire somebody that's dependable, because she already knows she's dependable. You were there taking care of the kid until you found out the kid wasn't yours. And when you found out the kid wasn't yours, you said, you know what? I can't hang around this situation. It's not good for me. I'm not going to badmouth the mother. I'm just going to move on. Women remember those things. I'm telling
you. Yeah, so again, and this is just the early part. Like, these are the things in the in-depth conversations that we have. And to me, when I think about certain situations and I see some of the things that people post, I was like, their asses should be knocking at our door every Monday night to say, I need to get this off my chest. I need to express this. I want a forum that I can talk about it because it's free. And we say, hey, you can choose the topic, a discussion of the week. We don't have to choose it, but yeah, yet decline it or whatever the case is. But I already know the day is going to be coming that everybody's going to be racing to try to get, put in your proposal. Maybe it'll top up at $6 or something. But no, all jokes aside, like, it's a forum that if you're not doing anything on a Monday night and you got shit on your mind, you can come in here and talk about it, or just throw something. Hey, what do y'all think about this? Well, I'm going through this. We're going through, because y'all telling it all anyways on your long post. So it's not like, oh, yeah, I don't want to tell them that. We see it. We see it. We see your struggle.
What up,
we
Doug?
see your hurt. What's going on, Doug? Happy New Year, brother. We see it. So why not come on and talk about it? It doesn't make sense. Whatever, instead of writing these long ass posts out, doing this, and doing that. Let's talk about it. And sometimes just hearing other perspectives, you can walk away with a different perspective and say, all right, yeah, I was thinking this way, but listening to that, now I'm gonna step away, and I'm not gonna handle certain things the way I was gonna handle it. Because I could tell you, like, prime example, and I don't want to call out no names or anything, but I remember, and timing is everything. I remember one of my boys, he was upset at a situation with him and his lady, and he was planning to throw all her shit away and just throw it away, burn it, take it to the dumpster. And I just happened to be riding up, and I'm like, yo, what are you doing? And they're like, yo, all this shit, man, fuck that. I'm about to take this shit, throw it to the dumpster. Here you go, Anita, coming in with the background noise. And
can you plug in the earphones or whatever it is?
Oh, me?
Anita? Yeah.
I don't have anything on.
Oh, it sounded like an old style arcade game, almost like in a.
Oh no, my phone rang.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Dave.
So, and I was like, he was like, I'm gonna throw all this stuff away. And I was like, dude, who you really hurting? And I'm like, you hurting your kids. I said, because now she gonna have to replenish and do everything, which is gonna take away from them. And probably it's gonna cause more money for you. Also at the end, because they're gonna be lacking in certain areas, you're gonna have to pick up. And he was like, damn, you're right. So sometimes it's just hearing different perspectives can change up a whole lot of things. Could probably save you some money, save you some grief, or in some cases, save you from some physical damage that you was planning to do that you might fall back and say, "No, I'm not going to do that." Like listening to other people tell me that was the wrong thing, then I'm gonna back off. So it's important. We had a platform to talk about that. I got a couple of people came on. What's going on, Anwar? Oh man, I didn't connect with you. We gonna connect. You know how it is when you get home with family and time passes you by. But I definitely got to get my copy of the book. What's going on, fam? Big
Yeah,
Shank.
congratulations on
Shank.
that, man.
You got Big Andrew coming in. What's going on, good brother? How you doing? Happy New Year. So we appreciate everybody coming through, and we got Anita Sweetie on here. Anita Baker, how you doing?
Hi. How's
Oh,
everybody?
we good. We
No
good.
complaints.
hmm So you talk about free counseling on here? Okay. Gotcha.
You said free counseling? No, it's just a matter of just having conversations. And sometimes that's
I'm
what's
just
about.
kidding.
I know.
So I do have something to add about what you were just talking about making decisions. Um so I had a situation, my ex-boyfriend, he made me really mad. This was like years ago. So he was in the kitchen, I was trying to cook. He was just pissing me off more and more. So instead of hitting him upside the head with a sauce pot, I just had to bang it on the counter.
Really.
Really? There was no one hurt in that incident except for my pot,
Mm.
my
As long as it
2-quart
doesn't
pot.
with you, okay.
And he left the kitchen because I don't really get mad like that. I don't really yell. I don't get mad. Well, when I yell and do something out of character, that's when you know. When you know, you know. Get out of my face and act right. So what we talking about tonight? I have a topic.
Well, we
It's
just
just a year recap of the year. But go ahead, whatever it is.
Mm. So I was going to talk about the things people are leaving behind in 2024.
such as
Well, for me, I went through and I deleted old text messages. I deleted 70 contacts in my phone. The stuff I didn't need. Leaving that in 2024. I mean, which makes sense to me because I don't need them. I don't need them in my phone. Also, one of my goals. See, I don't say New Year's resolution because that's so cliche. I say goals is to lose weight, and right now, I'm trying to have more of a healthy diet. I just made a smoothie, triple berry smoothie.
Gotta be careful
So,
with the sugar.
oh no, it's not that. It's frozen berries and plain Greek yogurt. And it's not sweet at all. But
No, what I'm saying is fruit. Not to interrupt you, but just to put this in there. What a lot of people, and this is not to say you specifically, what a lot of people do is when they turn to juicing, they'll do that, which is in and of itself, it's healthy. But the thing that a lot of people don't realize is most fruits are water and there are a whole lot of sugar. And that's why I said just be cognizant of the sugar content, even with yogurt and all of that stuff.
oh yeah, all you gotta do is read on the package what the serving size is on each, and add appropriately. I didn't put no juice or ice in it. It was just frozen triple berries and Greek yogurt. It's pretty good, but I'm trying to be more on a liquid type of diet.
All day. Journey of 1,000 miles. Starts with the first step.
Starts with baby steps. So like stuff like I'm leaving a couple pounds behind in 2024. I lost 3
Well, I'm down.
pounds.
Nothing wrong
Oh,
with
good.
So it's just interesting to hear what kinds of things people want to leave in 2024 and start fresh in 2025.
Go ahead, David.
Well, one of the things people say a lot of that stuff, like you said, a lot of the stuff is cliche and this and that, but they still keep the same circle. They still interact with the same people and all that. And so 2024 will always look like, but 2025 will probably look the same unless you do drastic changes and you really have to cut people back and realize these people are for me. The things that these people do make sense. I no longer can deal with this foolishness.
Right.
And until you get to that point, then probably year after year, it's going to always look the same, no matter what. And a lot of times people just can't let go. Sometimes it seems like people just engraved to toxicity. They love it. And they know that that person's not good for them, whether whoever it is. It could be a brother, sister. It could be your first cousin. It could be a coworker and all that stuff. If you put that stuff in your mental every day, that's what it's going to be. You're going to have some form of it. So, as they used to say, miss me with all that stuff. When people talk all that stuff, shut the hell up with that stuff, whatever, unless you really cutting ties and leaving stuff behind. Because if you keep doing what you're doing, you're gonna keep getting the same results. We already know that saying. So that's how I kind of take those type of conversations, whatever. Like, what have you done different?
Well, it's a process. It's a mindset. People have to grow into that mindset.
It's not a mindset if you've been saying that since 2015 and it's
Well,
10 years later and you're still doing the same thing. It's just
eventually
real life.
people will get strong enough to make those difficult decisions and changes.
Only
A lot
kid.
of people are motivated by professional counseling, getting the skills and tools in their tool chest, and little by little you see
I sent the link, Dave.
small accomplishments that eventually add up to a big noticeable change in yourself.
Listen, Anita. We on the clock. When you get a certain age, either you gonna shit or get off the pot. So some things you can have a gradual change, but if you've been talking about something for 10 years and you have not done anything about it, it's time to make some real moves. So all that stuff we don't have that time at a certain age. None of us is in our teenagers, 20s, 30s. Most of the people tune in on the show in their 40s, 50s. So If it's something that's been hindering you and you got to make moves, you got to do that shit real fast. Got to make moves.
Yeah, to what you're saying, there's nothing wrong with what you're saying. And to follow up what Dave was saying, and that's happened on this platform. If something is a hindrance to me, or something has made it known that it doesn't want to be around me, I waste no time in getting rid of it. Absolutely not. I'm not gonna wait till the end of the year. I'm not gonna wait the next week. It's a leech. It's got to go now. It's got to go ASAP. It's got to go yesterday. And I and it might be more of a female characteristic to try and sift through that to see how it's going to make one feel in terms of what they want to do. But me, no.
I'm not.
You got to go now.
I'm not saying you have to wait till the end of the year to do all those things. I'm just saying a lot of people, when the end of the year comes, like, the past week, the week before the new year, they start thinking, like, you know what? I'm going to write down a list of things that I want to improve on and work on and leave behind, certain patterns that didn't benefit me.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's important to encourage people, and I think it motivates someone more than criticism.
No, don't misunderstand what David and I are saying. There are some people who don't have that internal drive to do certain things, so they need to seek reassurance, whether it's through counseling or speaking to anyone else, to say, "Hey, look, this is the right thing that you're doing." Me personally, I don't need anybody else to tell me that, "Hey, look, that individual, they ain't no good for you. What that person's telling you is not for you." Because and this has a lot to do with the fact that I was one of 8 boys in the family. So we always stood on our own, regardless of what it is. And I believe this is something I said last week, that people were always telling me that I need to have a child so I'll settle down. What are you talking to? Going over there with that shit, man. I don't need to hear that kind of negativity in my life. Some people don't know how to differentiate between sound advice and somebody projecting something. And if you don't know how to differentiate between that, what sounds like good advice is somebody else projecting onto you what they want to do, but they don't want to do it alone. This is why they say when people go to do things, you have to start by yourself, because it's then and only then will you understand the direction that you need to go. And once you figure out the direction you need to go, people are going to say, "Hey, look, I didn't know you were doing that. You didn't tell anybody." Why were you supposed to? Like they say, take your wins in private, take your losses in private. The best development that anybody does is when they are alone. David talked about this year being the year Kobe Bryant. When Kobe Bryant worked out, who did he work out with? No one. No one's ever around to see when you improve. They only see the finished product. Case in point, you said you lost 3 pounds. Who was around you when you started that? No one.
Buddy.
But you keep, but Buddy can't tell anybody. So when you continue to do that, all of a sudden people are gonna say, "Oh wow, I didn't know you had changed the diet. I didn't know you did this." They're not supposed to. This is why I always tell people there are some things that you should do that nobody else knows about. So when you emerge on the other side of that tunnel, you can say, "You know what? This is the one thing I can say, you know what? I did, and I didn't have any assistance with it." And that bolsters your confidence. So when it's time to really make a move, you have that self-confidence already built in, already developed, and you can say, "You know what? I did this without anybody's assistance. I can do this without anybody's assistance." and that's when you become a power unto yourself.
That's true. A lot of that's true for some people. But I mean, I probably bring this up a lot, but in the Army, we have a team, and when you fall down, somebody is always there to encourage you, and we
Sure.
do things together. See, that's the kind of environment I'm used to.
But you're
And
but you're not no
hold,
longer
hold,
in the.
hold on, I'm not done. Don't be huffing and puffing.
No, I'm just
And,
saying. Yeah.
and
Hurry
I
up, hurry up.
never mind then. I'm not gonna
No,
hurry up. Never mind.
no, what I'm saying is you you you're bringing up something and you're talking about now. Either you get about the then and there or the here and now. And we're talking about moving forward in 2025. But most people, um, if they were in the army, they're probably not around people that were in the army like that. So it's a whole different regime of people that they're around. So they they're not going to think about that. Yeah, anybody who plays sports know about team concepts and things
Mhm.
like that. But the truth of the matter is, you ain't around your teammates like that
Well,
anymore.
what I was gonna say is, instead of you criticizing that, what I was gonna say is that that's the teamwork that I grew up in adulthood with. And then when you transition, a lot of veterans have a hard time transitioning into that mindset where you're all by yourself, you're a civilian. But see, females, I know, like my personally, I'll say my mom, for example, we make goals together. We're like, hey, you want to go on this cabbage soup diet? Let's do it together. Sometimes it's easier to do things together. My girlfriend that is recovering from breast cancer, she wants to start, exercising. I was like, yeah, let's do it together because we're both like at the same level. So not everybody, maybe it's predominantly females,
There you go.
but not
There you go.
not everybody wants to do things alone. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes not, depending on what kind of thing it is.
So
I get motivated when somebody is, you know, doing it with me, like, hey, let's go to the gym. We really don't want to, but we're gonna go together and motivate each other. That's what I'm talking about. So it's a whole new ball game in the civilian world, and a lot of veterans have, it's difficult to transition, and it helps going to counseling, and it helps having, I'll say, a battle buddy there as a support system.
Go ahead, Dr. Dunbar. I'll
yeah,
come
we're gonna
back to
bring
what's the saying in a
yeah,
moment.
we're gonna bring Anwar in here.
Hey everyone. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
It'll be 2025 really soon. And I think what I'll contribute to this is I did a TikTok earlier. So, every now and then I'm not as regular over there as I should be. I don't know if it's going to still be here in a month. But one thing I've been thinking about, and David, yeah, I guess when we get back to the DMV, I'll get you a copy of your book.
Uh-huh.
I totally get it. It's the holiday season. You're with your family, so that that takes precedent over everything. So I totally get it, bro. But I was thinking about I'm thinking out the rest of my life right now. Publishing this book is a milestone, and I'm thinking about something that I read in someone else's book, Dr. Sean Nelms. He's a City Honors graduate, and in his book, he put a short passage that said that you have to have a plan for yourself,
Mhm.
and if you don't plan out what you want to do, someone else is going to find something for you to do, and if you don't plan out your money, someone else is going to find a way to spend your money,
Mhm.
and I found that to be true. So I think it's important for everyone to have a plan for yourself. Have your own dreams. In that TikTok, I noted a specific passage from Hoop Dreams. I don't know if any of you all saw Hoop Dreams, but there was a scene in which
Yes.
William, I think it was the scene when William was graduating from high school, and his mother told him, "It's all right if everybody tries to pour their dreams into you, William, but you have to pour your own dreams into yourself." So I just want to come up and say I was thinking a lot about that today, because so many times we're at jobs,
Mhm.
and it could be that you aspire to be a manager or a supervisor, but you may be just working that job while you write your book, or you work
Mhm.
on your YouTube channel or
Mhm.
something. And that's okay. Some people want to be manager, some people want to be a manager or a supervisor, or they want to be a division director, but that's not for everybody. And I kind of had that revelation today when I was talking with someone, my late coach's surviving wife. We were talking about a bunch of different things at lunch today, but everything's not meant for everybody. So I just think, yeah, that was my revelation for today. And my message to people is have a plan for yourself, and that's going to impact the trajectory of your life. And when you get with a significant other, or when you get on a job, if you know what you want and where you're going, you'll be less likely to be somebody else's passenger.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, that's a song. If you don't know where you're going, any road to get you there. No, so
True.
back to what you were saying, Anita. And I've always said this: whether an individual is former military or they're getting out of incarceration, that individual, regardless of their gender, needs to create a support system for them. And there's nothing wrong with that. The larger problem comes in when people become too reliant upon that support system. And let me put it in reference to something you would understand. If there's somebody in your unit who consistently, regardless of all the input, all the help they get, underperforms, what does the Army do with that individual?
Can you say that again?
If there is an individual in a company in the Army, regardless of all the support that soldier is receiving, and that soldier consistently underperforms, what does the Army do with that individual?
Either corrective action or
Nothing works. Nothing works. They've done everything possible. Nothing works.
you didn't say that part.
Okay.
Something is going to work. Something is going to work.
Okay. So in every unit, in every company, I'm sorry, every soldier in every company in every unit always performs to a standard. Nobody ever fails a PT test.
No, I'm not saying that. They
Hold on.
do.
Oh, stop right there. Stop right there. So what happens when that person does? When that soldier does?
If they fail a PT test, for example, we have additional PT to do.
And if they don't
My
complete it,
soldiers, personally,
no,
I
no,
take
stop. You're jumping the gun. I'm not talking about the soldiers. I'm talking about an individual who consistently fails. Nothing done helps that person to succeed. What becomes of that soldier?
they might have something personal going on.
So is the military going to continue to keep them around?
It depends on corrective action.
Nothing works.
I mean, it's situational.
I know. I'm aware of that. That's why I'm asking you the questions. Nothing.
I mean,
works.
it's hard to get fired in the Army.
No, but it's possible to be dishonorable, or it's possible to be discharged, is it not?
I mean, yeah, it is. It takes a lot.
You're absolutely correct. The same thing that it takes to be discharged is the same thing that it takes to adhere to a plan. So whether you have 15 people around you or no people around you, the will is individual. Even if you have somebody that's working with you, everything starts with the mind. Everything. I don't care who you are, what you want to do. You have to have the thought before you can act upon anything. So a lot of people, and this is why I say it's more slanted towards women. A lot of people will have, you know what, I want to do this, but I want somebody to push me. This is why I mentioned Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was self-driven. This is why you tend to see men more so than women who are excelling past what their capabilities were told to them. You don't find women generally like that. That's because women don't function well in that kind of environment. They want somebody to go with them. Well, let's do this together because I want somebody there with me. Men aren't doing that. You will find more men lifting weights alone. You'll find more men jogging alone, whereas you will find more women doing things together. It's communal, and there's nothing wrong with that. But at a certain point in time, if an individual wants to achieve something, more than likely they're going to have to strike out by themselves sometimes. Matter of fact, take Oprah Winfrey for example. Who did she talk about was there with her when she was developing whatever it is? As a matter of fact, she's put more men on than she's put women on. Dr. Phil came out of her camp. Tyler Perry came out of her camp. But that's a rare woman. So this is when we talk about these things, is not to slight the genders, is to put under a microscope how the genders function. There's nothing wrong with needing a team and having a team. But at a certain point in time, the mindset has got to come to say, you know what? My team is good. But in order for me to get to where it is, I got to push ahead.
Anita just want to have something to argue about.
This wasn't even meant to be a debate. So stop talking about arguing. It wasn't even meant to be a debate.
We've been talking about individuals all along. So we ain't nobody mentioned nothing about no team or anything like that. We're talking about self-development and growth for individuals.
Okay. All right. Well, I came on here and I said I got something to talk about, right? Okay, then. Don't be trying to like belittle me and insult me because I'm on here. I'm always the only female on here that got something to talk about. Okay.
You're the only female now. We know we had tons of females on here and they departed. You stayed along, so that's just what it is. And our views never changed though.
Guys, I was waiting for Anita to flip the table over like she always does. I was waiting for her to have a rebuttal.
I'm gonna put somebody upside the pot, upside the head with my sauce pot that's already dented. Okay.
See, now you talking about domestic violence. Want to hit a man in the head with a sauce pot?
It might be the counter. Anyway, I had something to say about motivation and the things personally that people are leaving behind in 2024 that they realize I don't need to go into 2025 with excess baggage. Okay, so I talked about both things, and if you don't like what I'm talking about, I just won't say anything.
So Anita, so that's an interesting thing that you do. So you delete phone numbers and contacts from your phone?
Yeah.
I've never pondered doing that because usually if someone goes out of my life, it's because they've run away or they've caused some drama. And I've never said I absolutely need to cut this person off. But maybe that's something to think about.
So the 70 contacts I deleted, I'm like, I haven't talked to this person in over a year, 2 years, 3 years. I haven't talked to this boss since, I stopped working there. I don't need them in my contacts taking up space.
Well, Anita, you know what they say? They say at the end of your life, one of the measures of how much of a difference you've made is the size of your phone book.
Mm-hmm. Now,
the number of lives.
Hold on, let me jump in here real quick.
The number of lives you've encountered, the measure of that is the size of your phone book and your contacts list.
Yeah, but like I said, I don't like, for example, somebody that I went on 2 dates with 7 years ago. I don't need that contact in my phone anymore. It's just taking up space in my phone.
Let me jump in here.
Google has plenty of space.
Like that. What?
Google has plenty of space.
Go ahead, Anita.
No, I'm not. I'm not doing all that. They were supposed to be meant for a positive thing.
But why can't it be? Why can't it, or why isn't it a positive thing?
Why is it?
Why is that what? Or why can it not be a positive thing?
To me, it's a positive thing. So I don't need to talk to that boss anymore. And if I need to, I know how to find the number.
Okay, that's fine. You saying you know how to find the number versus you having the number at your fingertips.
I don't need it in my contacts.
Hold on. You finding the number versus you having it at your fingertips is the difference between going to pick up a phone book to find a number that you know the business of, as opposed to having it in your phone. Now, I'm not telling you how to run your life. I said that to say this, and everybody's going to know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to have to mention any names. There's a former panel member whose information I still have in it. Matter of fact, in an old style quarterly phone. All right. That individual's phone number, home address, birthday, and everything is still there. Why? Because it's a reminder of the bond that I had with that individual. See, this is what Dr. Dunbar is getting at. We as people, we have a propensity to boil things down to one bad interaction. And we jettison somebody because of that bad interaction, no matter about all the good things that may have come of that relationship. And I didn't
say all interactions that I deleted were bad. I just said I don't have any use for them. Like if I have a name Steven in my phone and I have no idea who that is, do I need that number? No. What?
Don't have me call you from the bottom. Don't have me call you from the bottom of the stairs.
Herbert, you're getting deleted from my phone. Stop.
That's fine. But you can't delete me from your life.
I'm just kidding.
This is what I'm talking. Speaking of Dr. Dunbar, I want everybody that's listening now, in the future, what I want you to do is I want you to write a book. You heard me. I want you to write a book with one stipulation, that the book that you write contains the people in your contact list, and write out your interactions in a book form and tell about your life with those people, without those people, how those people impacted you, whether it's positive or negative, and see what you get. That's my challenge For everybody that's listening going into 2025, by the time the year's end, I know I'm going to talk about having a book done. Yeah, I know. I want you at the end of the year to have a manuscript and just call it numbers or call it whatever you want to, because that's something I've often thought about. Is due to the number of places I've lived at, is taking the addresses of all these places that I've ever lived in and just write about my experiences in these particular places. Because at the end of the day, it's like Dr. Dunbar just said, those interactions shape you, good, bad, or indifferent. Every encounter you have with somebody shapes an aspect of you, whether it's negative or positive. Matter of fact, I'll give you an example. A young woman came in to the job. iPhone was dead. She needed a charger. Now, and I talked about this last week. It was the way she presented herself. And when she asked the question, I told her no. Now, guess what? And you can hate me all you want to. I have an iPhone charger in the back. But it's the way she presented herself that I said, you know what? I don't want to help her. Some people will say, oh, that's fucked up. You know what? No, it was a personal choice. Because she presented herself in a manner that she wouldn't accept gratitude. The reason why I say that is this. She's from Amherst. Now, for people that are not familiar with the area, Amherst is a suburb of Buffalo. And I said, well, ma'am, do you have any cash? She said, no, I don't, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I said, oh, okay, because what I was going to recommend is that you catch a bus. And before I even finished the sentence, she said, I ain't catching no bus. Then you didn't want to get home. That was how I looked at it. So if you don't want to get home, why should I help you? You don't want to take simple advice to advance and fix your own situation, because apparently somebody was supposed to come get her and the ride didn't show up. Now, this was the funny thing. She said and asked if we could call an Uber or Lyft. I'm thinking, you realize those aren't things that you can just pick up the phone and call somebody and say, I'm here, can you send one? I'm like, those are app-based programs. I don't have the app. I've never used it per se. I've been with people that have used it, and I need to actually set it up myself. But I'm thinking, not only aren't you grateful, you don't know what the hell it is that you're talking about. Yeah, no. And like I said, people will have their own feelings about whether or not I should have helped them. I'm not obligated to help anybody, especially when you demonstrate that you will not receive gratitude. And a lot of people don't understand that. They think that just because they're in a dire situation, that somebody's obligated to help them. No. You should have had shit set up. You should have put yourself into a position to what you needed to. Rely on somebody else to help you in a bind that you put yourself in. That's all I'm saying. So information, can be used one of two ways. And I understand that you want to get rid of what you consider to be dead weight, and that's no shame. All I'm saying is this. Why? And I understand, and this is for anyone. I understand that, if you went on a couple of dates with somebody or Bumble, Tinder, whatever other dating app is out there, because I don't use them, and you want to delete that person, by all means. You want to take them off your social media, by all means. I understand it, which is why I tell people, don't use dating apps. Don't use them. You want to use them to screen? I understand. I'm just saying they're a waste of time. They take up more space than they're worth. That's why I always tell people, go out into the world, go to functions, get hobbies, meet people, have conversations. And this is how I tell people how I date. I have conversations. So the minute I meet a prospective female that I might be interested in, the dating has started right there. I'm looking at what you wear, how you speak, how you interact with people, how you carry yourself. And I'm scrutinizing. Yes, I'm scrutinizing. So if you're drunk and I see you, it's the automatic nah. Can't be bothered with it. And some people say, "Oh, that's judgmental." Yeah, you are absolutely correct. I'm a judgmental motherfucker.
I guess the
no
big
excuses about it.
I guess the bigger question is how some of these contacts got into your phone thing to begin with. So it has to be something that drove them to be in your contact list to begin with. Because I just don't put anybody in my contact things. And most people, yeah, you don't go about deleting them, especially like old bosses and people like that, because hell, for one, you never know when you're gonna need them if they're still alive or whatever the
Mhm.
case is. Time just passes you by that you may have not spoken to them. Some of them my greatest bosses that I've been with, I haven't talked to them in years, but I know if we
Yeah.
reached out and I connected, everything would be all good. But life keeps happening and you may not. And it may be shame on both of our parts for not keeping in contact, but the
Mhm.
reality is we don't keep in contact with everyone.
Well, I've noticed that maybe I shouldn't say this online, but I tend to save most of my phone numbers, but I notice everybody doesn't do
Yeah.
that. Or maybe as Anita does, if there's no more use for you, or if you don't speak after a while, I'm just gonna delete the number. So, but either people delete really quickly, or they never save your
Mhm.
number in the first place, because sometimes you message somebody, they say who is this? It's like, well, it's me. We just met, or
Yeah.
you know, some people are quick on the trigger, So yeah, thank you for that education, Anita. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. I mean, how often do people go through their contact list in their phone? Today
Well,
was like,
Anita, I mean, sometimes you wonder. You know what? You say, you know what? Oh, I remember her. What happened to her?
Right.
I really liked her. We stopped talking for some reason.
Right. Right.
And let me see. This happens, Anita. This happens. Let me see what she's up to.
Mhm.
Now, sometimes she's
I've
seeing
done that.
somebody. Sometimes she's married. Sometimes she don't answer. But that happens. You meet people and you wish something would have happened, or you talk for a little bit and then it just drops. And then later on, you wonder, you know what? I wonder what happened to that person. Sometimes it's just not meant to be.
I will say this much, and this is something that David and I talked about early in the broadcast before you got on, Anita. So if you don't follow, I understand. I can't tell you how many. I want to be delicate with the way I put this. How many women are on my friends list that I used to move furniture with? I can't tell you how many ex-girlfriends are on my friends list. And it's not that we dislike each other per se. Is that our lives moved in different paths. Now, some of these women are married with kids. I'll message them every so often and say, "Hey, how's the family doing? What's going on? Yada yada." That's it. But you have some people, and I understand you have some people that, because this is something that Blair posted today. Is it wrong for people to keep in contact with people that have dated ex-lovers or what? That's going to be predicated, and this is something we'll get into next year. That's going to be predicated upon the individual. Because just because you dated somebody and you guys didn't work out doesn't mean you're mortal enemies. I saw my ex-girlfriend about 2 months ago. Gave her a kiss on the cheek. We're not enemies. We're just not dating anymore. And I think once people get to a certain point in their maturation, they understand certain things. So not everything is contentious. You don't want to sit there and fight. You can actually call an individual and say, "Hey, look, just like Dr. Dunbar said, I need something. Can you assist me?" "Oh, what is it?" "Yeah, sure." And that's it. Sometimes, and I talked about this, sometimes we leave bridge embankments on the term unkept. We don't check on them every once in a while to see if the bridge embankment is still any good, that we can cross it from time to time. And one of my friends said something that was very profound. And the individual said, if I burn a bridge, it's okay because I know how to swim. And I thought that was very profound. Because sometimes you need to burn a bridge. And that's what you're talking about. You need to burn that bridge. I don't need that bridge anymore. And if that's the case, then that's okay. Burn that bridge. Destroy the embankment because you're never coming back that way anyway, so it don't matter. Just ensure that when you do it, it's for a good reason, not because you don't have consistent contact with them anymore, because we don't know what the future holds. That individual that you might speak to only once a year might be in an endeavor or business that you say, hey, look, I saw on my memories, my Facebook memories, when you were starting to build that business. How's that business turning out? And they say, you know what? Business is going well. I can use somebody. I remember that you were in this walk of life. Matter of fact, take yourself. They say, you know what? I could use a counselor. I remember you were going to school for this. Do you have your degree? You say, sure. They say, hey, look, come down. We can sit around. We can hammer out some numbers. We can talk about this. Next thing you know, you have a position that's open up to you. All because you picked up the phone, you sent the text or whatever it was, and now that bridge is in use again. So there's nothing wrong with deleting contacts. Just make sure that when you do, you have absolutely no use for them. Not because you guys don't communicate as consistently as you do. We all don't. I don't talk to my brothers half as much as I used to when we were younger. That's because we all have lives. I work midnights. They're on different ships. But make it a point every so often to just reach out to an individual. Say, hey, look, I was just thinking about you. Want to see how you do. Because I do that to people I went to college with. And I won't say I don't have anything in common. My college days were cool. So I the people I have on my friends list on Facebook from college are people that I rock with. And we don't see each other that often. But I would, for you, I hope it's the same thing, that you have contacts from people from the military who are still in your unit. It's the same thing because that's where you spent a significant portion of your life. So you say it's transitioning back to civilian life is difficult. Well, reach out to somebody who was a part of that fraternity that you have, so you can talk about those things. And you might ask them, hey, what are you doing to transition? What are you doing to make this easier for you? And they may have some ideas for you. But one would never know until you ask.
We're just using that as an example. Everybody I deleted is not like it's contentious or I met them on a dating app or anything like that. It's just people I don't need to talk to, don't want to talk to, don't ever want to. It's males and females, not just males, but anyway.
Well, I'll tell you what, Anita.
That's one of the things that I know a lot of people do. Like, I never think about going through my contacts. I just happen to be scrolling for some number today.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, I don't need half these contacts.
Well, I'll tell you what, Anita.
Or I don't want half these contacts, I'll say.
I've got people on my Facebook network and my Instagram network who I don't talk to, who I don't particularly like. But I'll tell you what, in 2025, you know what I want to do? I want to sell books. And everybody is a potential customer.
Bingo!
You might have burned your bridge with me. You might have been a bad girlfriend. You might not have paid me back my $10, $20. But as long as you're in my Facebook network, my Instagram network, or my TikTok, you're a potential customer. So you gotta, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
I
a
think
capitalist,
Facebook is
Anita.
a little
I'm a
different.
capitalist.
So
David,
no,
go ahead.
speaking to that, it reminds me when you're talking about selling books. When I went to college, and I'm not gonna call out his name, but me and him, we actually got into a fight at college. And throughout the time, our relationship was rocky. But when I became an author and I sold books and people posted that they got my book and he had, he's seen it, he reached out to me. Now we hadn't talked in years. We never had no words really too much after we got into the fight at college. And he's like, "Yo, Dave," he was like, "I know I'm the last person you want to talk to, but years had passed by. Like, I'm not even thinking about that anymore." But he was like, "I want to support you." And he said, "I want to purchase your book." And he was like, and then as we talked more, he was like, "Our incident is bigger than what it was because I ended up telling my children that Dave could have pressed charges or did this or did that, and probably we wouldn't have had a life that we had because I would have probably been, kicked out of the university. But I never went that route. But now anything I do, he support. And even though we had this tension between us and years had passed by and we grown as men, now we communicate on Facebook. He posts something about his children. "What's up, D? Congratulations," and all that. And I told him, like, man, I probably was stubborn, and we probably could have been good friends. We could have put that incident behind us and went further. I have a lot to do with it, and I'm like, man, like those are valuable relationships that you could have, but you let one thing happen, and you say, I could have looked at this and like, man, fuck you, whatever. What you reaching out to me for? But you get older, you get wiser, and you say, hey, let me see what they got to talk about. So I understand where you're coming from, Dr. Anwar, as far as that. And like I said, if I wrote a book, he'll buy it. He'll probably buy it when it first come out. And such and such. And anything I say, he always say, if you need anything, if you down here, hey, holler at me, whatever the case is. And you say, wow, like immaturity that we face when we're younger and the strong relationships that you can have, but you got to be open-minded and be willing to say, man, that has nothing to do with what I'm doing now. And I got to move forward. Yeah. So that's some of the things that you have to think about as well. So
I think Facebook is a bit different from contacts in your phone. I have people that are friends of friends, acquaintances, people from I was stationed with in 1996 in Iraq and all that stuff. That's a little different for me.
Well,
But
Anita,
anyway, I got it. Huh?
You know what Facebook will do? It'll take the contacts from your phone and link them up with you on Facebook.
If you let it, if you choose to. Anyway, I gotta call my mama. Happy New Year, everybody. Maybe I'll talk to you next year. Maybe I won't.
Okay, good day.
Happy New Year, Anita.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, guys, I'm gonna hop down too. I just want to come up. David, that's a cold hat. I was in Joseph A. Bank earlier looking for deals. I saw some hats that I like. Well, I like if they come out like too poofy, I don't like them. I like them nice and kind of.
See, I
when they line up with my head like this.
I like a bigger brim.
Okay. I like a thin brim. Okay.
Because you know what, with the thinner brims, as we get older, your face get bigger, and it may not show.
It's funny you said that because
so I like to be able to adjust the hat.
Because I used to wear a hat that was thinner. Yeah, because my head has gotten bigger, and I'm just like, wait a minute. I used to wear it because I went to we have a store in the local mall called Lids, and I bought a couple Yankee hats, and And I, as a rule, I suppose, I really wear baseball caps. And they've gotten to the point now where I remember when hats were $10, $12 for us. They're like $45, $50 now. I'm just like, God damn, since when did a hat become that expensive? So they would buy
Inflation,
one, get
man.
one free, so I copped a couple. Yo, it's wild, but I mean, they getting the money for them, so I can't knock the house. But I do want to follow up David's story with one, and basketball fans, you'll love this. Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal, when they were playing, they got into a huge fight. Now, unbeknown to those two,
yeah.
well, no, unbeknown to those two, their mothers knew each other.
Wow.
Yes. So when they got together, Shaq's mother, Charles' mother called Shaq's mother, and they had him sit down and say, "Hey, look, you two aren't gonna be doing this. Y'all not gonna be fighting. Y'all sit down and y'all make good together." And you know what? That's why Shaq and Charles have the relationship that they do now on the set of TNT basketball, NBA, was it TNT NBA, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So you never know, and I said this earlier. We don't know what the future holds. So
No.
you know, a childhood tiff or tiff when you were in college, that person could turn out to be your greatest supporter. We don't know. You just don't. So and I understand Anita's position. Getting rid of David. If that's how she functions, good. The number one thing that people don't understand is themselves. So when somebody gives them an ideal, they say, you know what? I've never thought about that. I've never considered that. Me, I don't delete contacts personally. I've got contacts of people in here whose numbers I'm sure they are no good anymore. But I look at the name and say, you know what? I wonder how they're doing. I was trying to look them up on Facebook and see if I can connect with them. And sometimes I don't find them. I'm like, all right, whatever. No harm, no foul. And like I said, I have women on my friends list who I've moved furniture with. They're married, and I send them a message. How you doing? How's the family doing? Good. All right, cool. I'm serious. I used to have this thought, and I'll share this with everybody. I used to say, and this goes across genders. I say I used to say about 10%, but depending on if somebody's using their Facebook as just a follow platform or as a friends platform. This is strictly for friends. I used to say that roughly about 10% of people on someone's Facebook friends list they've been intimate with. Now, I had to sit down and do the math. I said, for me, I said, you know what? I said, once upon a time that was true. Mm-hmm. Now it isn't. So just a little sprinkle.
Yeah. All right, fellas. I have to drop down. So, hey, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, man.
Yeah, man.
David. Yeah, we'll link up when we get back to the DMV.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely connect. Definitely, for sure. Congratulations on your book, and yeah, we'll definitely connect.
Thanks, man. Take care, fellas.
Be safe, man.
All right.
All right.
So, there you have it. Just that little segment, kind of misunderstanding with Anita. And I was just really trying to ruffle her feathers just to give her a hard time. But as you see, these are the type of things that we need to get better at in 2025. And it's simple things, but certain things you just gotta find. And if we still going back on this subject, usage for people. Usage. Like, what role do they play? Just because somebody was your homeboy and that was your crew member, and you 50 something, don't mean that shit lasts forever. Don't mean it lasts forever. Sometimes in certain situations, you say, yeah, we all right. But that's not like the end all be all. I'm not about to get into a argument with my significant other over this individual because shit, this is home and they had a life.
Mhm.
We not a gang, we grown adults. So, but sometimes, again, you made a key point, Eric. Some women, that's the stuff that they be on. Guys kind of know how to, yeah, we all right, but I'm gonna leave it at that. We speak, but any mistreatment that you feel, I think guys know how to kind of cut it off. Like I don't fuck with him
Yeah.
like
Oh
that.
yeah.
Women,
Right.
yeah, seriously, and I'm not trying to pick on you. Yeah, I really need to work on and understand when somebody's not for you, or when they take jabs at you and they do little things and say that's really not the friend who I thought I was, who I thought they were. And I think when you start eliminating folks like that, the better off you'll be in all aspects of life. Because, as they say, keep your circle short and small and tight. People who got a big circle of people, that means anybody can infiltrate through that circle. When your circle is small and tight, it's hard to get in there.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to be special to be able to get in there. But some of y'all just hang out with anybody. Anybody could get in your damn circle. Anybody could come into your household. Anybody could hold your whip. Anybody could do everything. Got to do better as far as that. And we cover so much more. That the whole point of this is we probably only talk about probably the stuff that we talked about tonight. Probably was like February or something like that. We cover
Mm-hmm.
so much more, and it's so much again, so many real life conversations that we try to have that I think people need to pay more attention to and say, damn. I mean, the people that I talk to face when they see me, they're like, yo, but they never, you never see them like, they never comment. They say, yo, I'll be listening to your stuff, man. And I'll be thinking, like, damn, is he a fly on my wall? Like, damn, how did you know that I was going through this shit? And I was like, yeah, this is just real life stuff. And they're like, yo, it should be real. That's all. That's the only way I ever wanted it to be real. That we learn, we grow, we did go through pain, and we grow from it. But I do also understand that we have people with an element of Disney that they want, fairy tales to come true for them. And after a while, you realize fairy tale ain't working. So I got to make some adjustments. I hope that many of you start thinking that shit, you can pray to whoever you want to pray to. But if you don't put in the work or you don't do anything different, you're a lame duck. I'm just being real. You're a lame duck. So whether it's health, relationship wise, career wise, you can put any subject matter into it and it all fit. If stuff's still going the same way and you're not doing anything different, probably end up being a monumental failure. Unless you do something
And
different.
as Walter Cronkite would say, that's the way it is.
So we had so much. We not gonna kill your time to keep going on. We had so much, but remember this, so much is in store for 2025. Some of the subjects you may run across them again, but things change. There may be different variations of it. Uh Again, tell someone if you haven't subscribe to the channel. And if you say to yourself, hey, one day I want to have a podcast or a broadcast show, but I'm nervous. I want to get some experience or whatever the case. You can always come and join and be on the panel here. Uh,
Mhm.
I mean, and I ain't saying we experts or anything like this. Just been doing it for a while, but you can always come on because I know that whether I know it or not, this is a lot of way that people get news and information is through these type of platforms, or they use this for entertainment purposes. I know for me, I
Mhm.
listen to a lot of sports uh, podcasters and different things. I click on it, like far as boxing, and to see what's going on. So if it's something for you, and you just like, hey, I just want to be able to give it a shot. You always got plenty room on the couch here. We got lots
Yes,
of
sir.
seats available. And if you know us, one time we had the squares was always full, and we would have people inboxing us, oh, I want to get in, I want to get in. Well, those people went away, but that's all right. Eh, I guess, and some of them did it for the fact that they thought, oh, we gonna shut it down, that they gonna stop talking. Nah, nah, I got too much information to give out, so we still here, still
Can't
here.
stop the bum rush. Yeah.
Yes, so that's what I gotta say, and I wish everybody, close out tomorrow evening and be reflective and come up with some realistic and like Anita said, I don't get into the resolutions. You always should have goals, either short term, long term goals, whatever. But be reflective of that and take a look at 2024 and say, damn, what am I going to do different? What am I going to do different? And I hope that everybody in 2025 accomplish everything that they want to set for. I wish everybody great health. And that's probably the key to anything. You ain't going to accomplish anything if you ain't healthy,
Yeah.
physically, emotionally, or anything. So if you don't take care of those elements, then it's all for nothing. But I wish everybody well. And we ain't going nowhere. Still gonna be here. Still gonna be talking shit. Only difference is people might be called out for their bullshit more. Is that pulling the brick out of the
The gray
thing?
matter. That's what it is.
So that's my closing comment.
It didn't change.
Going away.
The calendar might flip, but the gray matter's still the gray matter. You know where it happens at. Hey, are you gonna put another brick in the wall, or are you gonna take one out?
Big Shank said, good show tonight. My cousin, fam. All right, fam. And I see you going to be doing big things, hosting shows, and keep believing in your dream and keep branding
Yeah, oh,
yourself
absolutely.
and keep doing it, whatever, because you're going to be your biggest fan no matter what. And
Yep.
never let anybody discourage you from thinking you the best, because that's the only way that you're going to survive. So if you thinking, you feeling in your heart that you doing good, keep on pushing and be confident about it, and guarantee if you do that and you walk the same walk and you be consistent, people are gonna keep calling you up like, yo, come through to my party,
Oh yeah.
whatever. We want your
Yeah.
energy. So shout out to you for your 2-year anniversary on that, man. Keep pushing, family, whatever. Sky's the limit, man. So Herb, you got anything else?
Nah, man. Like I said, stay tuned because next year I'm gonna rip some band-aids off some wounds.
And it's probably that time. And it's probably that time, and it's going to be in different variations. Auntie going to come through. When I see some posts and you talking reckless, I might call your ass out. I might call your ass out. Now, if I don't say your name directly, I might say initials, so people will be like, oh, I know what you're talking about now. I know what you're talking about now. Hey, and it's not that I dislike you. I just want you to grow. So sometimes you got to make people uncomfortable to grow. It's time to make people uncomfortable.
Yep.
All right, good people. We out.
All right,
On
man.
to the next one. Everybody
Take
have
care.
a happy new year. Be safe tomorrow. Do the right
Yes.
thing. Don't be out trying to get turned up and drinking and driving and all that stuff, whatever. Because one little mistake can lead to fatalities, fatal stuff, so whatever. Just be safe. Oh, no, get your ass somewhere wherever you at and sit there. Be safe, have a designated driver, but be in confines of people that care about you, and that if you can't leave there, you can stay at that situation. Don't be trying, oh, we about to go to Buffalo, we about to go to Niagara Falls, we about to shoot to Rochester and all that.
Yeah,
But people in the car
one
that's
place
indulging
there
in
and
alcohol,
stay.
yeah, stay there
Yep.
and call it a damn night, and wake up to see another day. That's all I got to offer. All right, people, we out.
I have
Much
to
love and
consider
appreciation. See
because
you
I'll
next
be
time.
working, so
Oh yeah.
I ain't gonna be doing too much craziness. I'll be running
All
some
right,
business.
man.
All right, man. Y'all be safe, and like Dave said, enjoy the new year responsibly.
Mhm.
I'll be drinking some pineapple Ciroc tonight. Yeah.
You said tonight? Go ahead, do your thing. Still early. Still early. All right, good people. Much love and appreciation. On to the next one.